Good evening, children.
Good evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. So today we are starting a new chapter. I'll be sharing some more material on trigonometry with you. So I'll give you some time to work that. I'll share the material in some 2 days time. I'll give you time to work it out, and we'll get back with another session of trigonometry next week. We'll just have a discussion on whatever we've understood in the chapter next week, one class next week. So today we have this new chapter, quadratic equations. We have seen the standard form. We've seen what a quadratic polynomial is in the chapter polynomials. In the chapter polynomials, we have come across or we have dealt with linear polynomials, quadratic polynomials, cubic polynomials, biquadratic polynomials. So now tell me, what is the standard form of a quadratic polynomial? What is the standard form of a quadratic polynomial?
Ax square plus
B
bx
plus C.
Plus C. Ax square plus bx plus C is the standard form of a quadratic polynomial in one variable x. In one variable x, correct?
Yes,
And what
ma'am.
are the conditions? Yes, what about the conditions? What are A, B, and C?
A,
Real
B
number.
and C are real numbers,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
all
A
are
should
real
not
numbers,
equal
ma'am.
to 0, ma'am.
C is a constant.
Yeah, correct. A, B, C real numbers. Yes, I heard everything. A, B, C real numbers. C is the constant there. Good. And somebody said A should not be equal to 0 because A is the coefficient of x square.
Yes, ma'am. If it is become 0, then it is a linear equation.
Correct. Very good. Very good. All right. So ax square plus bx plus c is the standard form of a quadratic polynomial in one variable x. A, B, C are real numbers. The most important condition, the coefficient of x square, which is a, should not be 0. Because as one of you rightly mentioned, if a is 0, then the polynomial will no longer be a quadratic polynomial. It will become a linear polynomial. All right. So I didn't prepare the introduction part in writing because we already know it. So we are getting into the chapter directly. So this is the introduction to the chapter. Quadratic. Okay. What is a quadratic equation? Now the chapter is quadratic equations. What is a
When the quadratic polynomial is equated to 0, it is an equation.
Is equated to 0.
Yes. So when a quadratic polynomial is equated to 0, so ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So when a quadratic polynomial is equated to 0, it's called a quadratic equation. So ax square plus bx plus c is the standard form of a quadratic polynomial. When you say is equal to 0, it is a standard form of a quadratic equation in one variable x. Now we have since I think 8th standard we've no, did we start this in 8th? No, okay, 9th standard. Say 9th standard. So we have seen how to factorize. In standard 9, we've seen how to factorize a quadratic polynomial by splitting the middle term. We have seen how to factorize. We've seen how to factorize a quadratic polynomial by splitting the middle term. I think chapter 2, polynomials, 9th standard. Chapter 2, polynomials, wherein we have understood how to solve a quadratic polynomial by splitting the middle term. So see the first one, children. We need to solve. You can see the quadratic equation there. X squared plus 5x minus of a squared plus a minus 6 is equal to 0. So what you see there?
Can you repeat, ma'am?
Children, focus on what I'm reading. Don't try to read the, I'm trying to show, I can't show only this part of the material. Yes, I'll just repeat. Please don't try to read the other contents. Don't get distracted by what else is there in the material. Please focus on what I am reading. Please. Don't try to go ahead, then it'll, no, that will not be effective. So let's just, we'll do one thing together. Sometimes you might see the rest of the material with curiosity as to what else is there. Please don't do that. Yes, no, I said the first one is a quadratic equation and one variable x. No, I think I don't remember what I said. Please ask me, Shakti, what's your question?
No, ma'am, I cannot understand the question.
Okay. Yeah, let me explain the question and the solution, and then you can get back with your doubts or any other question. So what you see here is a quadratic equation in one variable x. Now this expression here is the constant because the variable, our variable is x. Our variable is x. So regarding x as the variable, this expression represents the constant here. This expression is the constant. We need to factorize this. This is a quadratic equation in variable x. The variable is specified x. Solve for x by splitting the middle term. The variable is x. You can see the x square term, the x term, and this is one expression which does not have the x square or x term. So this is regarded as a constant. In this quadratic equation, in one variable x, this is the x square term, this is the x term, and this is the constant. Why is this called the constant? Because it does not have the x term at all. You don't see x here. Now, like if you take up this b square minus b minus 20, this one does not have the b element in it. B square b. This does not have b in it. So we call this a constant. Okay. So this is the middle term. This is the middle term. The x term is the middle term. This is the x square term. When we say split the middle term, we need to split the x term. When we say splitting the middle term, we have to split the x term, the term containing the x in it. So going by the usual rules, the sum is the coefficient of x. The sum is the coefficient of x, which is plus 5. And the product is this one. This is the x square term. This is the x term. This is the x term. So the coefficient of the x term is a sum. And the product is the product of the coefficient of x squared. This one and this constant. Remember, recall from last year. If supposing x square had a 2 before it, if the coefficient of x square was 2, then 2 into this will be the product. 2 into this is the product. So similarly, here the product, the coefficient of x square is 1. The coefficient of x square is 1. 1 into this one is the product, which means minus of a square plus a minus 6 is the product. You can open up the bracket by multiplying all the terms with the minus sign like this. Now, this is the sum, this is the product. We need to find the two expressions to split the middle term here. For that, you need to first work this. This is the sum. This is the quadratic equation. The sum is plus 5 and this is the product. To find the two expressions that satisfy the sum and the product, you need to first work this product, the expression you have for the product. So that you can work it by splitting the middle term. Work this or factorize this by splitting the middle term. Now that gives you two expressions. This is the product. Work this, factorize this by splitting the middle term. And you get a plus 3 into 2 minus a. I'll give you time to go through this. Now, these are the two expressions. You need to make use of these two expressions. Fix the signs accordingly, and see to that you get the sum as plus 5. And of course, the product a plus 3 into 2 minus a. You need to take up these two expressions. A plus 3 is one expression, 2 minus A is the other expression. You need to take up these two expressions and if needed, fix the signs. Now they carry a positive sign. It's plus A plus 3, it's plus A plus 3 and it's plus 2 minus A. Both the expressions as of now, they carry a positive sign. If needed, you may take a minus of A plus 3 and a minus of 2 minus A. So you can use the signs accordingly to get the sum as plus 5. To get the sum as plus 5. This is the sum. 5 is a sum. The product is this one. This is the product. But then to find the two numbers or the two expressions to split the middle term, you have to first work this. So work that and we get A plus 3 into 2 minus A. So these are the two expressions. You don't have to fix the sign. They're positive. Let them remain positive. You don't have to change the signs because A plus 3 into 2 minus A is definitely the product. You don't have to worry about it. It's definitely the product. A plus 3 into 2 minus A will give you this product because these are the factors of this product. Now you only have to check for the sum. You only have to check for the sum. Now just try to add these to A plus 3. You can see it here. I've worked it here for you. A plus 3 plus 2 minus A. When you add these two expressions, what do you get? You get 5. You get the sum. You do get the sum. When you take up the expressions as they look, as they are, of course, the product of these two will give you this expression because these two are the factors of this expression. So you don't have to worry about getting the product. The sum, check A plus 3 plus 2 minus A. Minus A plus A cancels. 3 plus 2 is 5. It does give you the sum. So these are the two expressions which you have to use to split the middle term. You need to use these two expressions to split the middle term. So go back to the equation given to you. Write the first term x square as it is. And instead of this one, we have factorized it, no? Write this. Instead of this, write this. And be careful. We have taken here in the product, we have actually factorized minus of A square plus A minus 6. So don't put the minus sign because we've already used it here. So I hope we understand. We have taken this minus sign here. So be careful. It will be plus. It's not this minus because this minus. So see, it's like this. We have multiplied the minus sign with every term here and we got minus A square, minus A and plus 6. That means there's a plus outside now, right? Once if you multiply this minus sign to every term inside the bracket, that means now there's a plus sign outside. Which is why it's plus here, children. It's plus here because we have multiplied this minus sign with every term inside the bracket and we got this, and this is what we have factorized. We have factorized this. So again, you cannot put a minus sign outside. We've already used the minus sign inside the bracket here. So which means when you multiplied every term with a minus, there's a plus outside here. That's why we've taken a plus here, children. So write the first term x square as it is. Write the last term as it is, but now as it is meaning write the last term. So here we will be writing the factors of the last term. So plus A plus 3 into 2 minus A is equal to 0. Write that as it is. Now split the middle term. The middle term is 5x. We write that as A plus 3x. See here. See, if you're going to use 2 and 3, you will say 2x and 3x. If you're going to use 2 and 3, you will say 2x and 3x. If you have to split 5x as, with the numbers 2 and 3, you will say plus 2x plus 3x. Similarly here, the expressions are A plus 3 and 2 minus A. So A plus 3 of x, 2 minus A of x. Why we now look at this example? We got how do we split the middle term? We write minus 5b plus 4b. Minus 5 and plus 4 are the numbers. Minus 5 and plus 4 are the numbers, but we don't write just minus 5 and plus 4. We write whatever is the literal factor of the middle term. Whatever is the literal factor of the middle term, b. So minus 5b plus 4b. In the same way here, x, the middle term, this is an equation in x. So you have to use an x here. A plus 3 of x plus 2 minus a of x. These are the two expressions. We split the middle term. And then, as we always do, group the first two terms and group the last two terms. So in the first two terms or between the first two terms, what is common? Only x is common. Bring out x. Bring out x, and then x into x is x square. X into a plus 3 is a plus 3x, or a plus 3 of x. Okay. Now between the third and the fourth term, 2 minus a is common. Between the third term, children, see, how do you make out the term? See, this is the first term. X square is the first term. This is the first term. This is the second term. This one is the second term. This x term is the second term. This is the third term. This one is the third term. 2 minus a of x. This is the third term. And this one is the fourth term. The terms are connected by a plus or minus sign. This is not a plus 3 and 2 minus a are not two different terms. See, the separator is the sign plus. So this is one term, this is the second term, the plus here. So this is the third term, plus here. So this is the fourth term. So group the first two terms and the last two terms. Between the third and the fourth term, 2 minus a is common. 2 minus a is common. So open the bracket. 2 minus a into x is 2 minus a of x. Plus 2 minus a into a plus 3 will give you this one is equal to 0. So now you know x plus a plus 3, x plus a plus 3 in one bracket, and x plus 2 minus a in the other bracket. Now you're solving for x, not for a, because our prime variable is x, not a. We're solving for x. So we get x plus a plus 3 into x plus 2 minus a is equal to 0. Why I haven't solved it? I forgot to write that step. Let me check. Oh, I've forgotten to write it. Okay. All right, children, complete it for me. I've missed out that step. Yeah. What is the next step, children? We haven't solved for x. So what are the values of x?
X is equals to minus a minus 3, ma'am.
And then here x is equal to
A
Correct.
minus 2.
A minus 2.
X is equal to a minus 2. I forgot to write that step. All right. So on solving, x plus a plus 3 is equal to 0. X plus, see, sometimes you can use this step also to solve, children. X plus a plus 3 is equal to 0. So x is equal to, if this goes to the other side, minus of a plus 3. This plus will become on the other side minus of. Sometimes you might find the answer like that. So I'm just trying to tell you both. So if you say x plus a plus 3 is equal to 0, x is equal to, when this one is transposed, you get plus becomes minus of a plus 3. And here x is equal to minus of 2 minus a. Or you can also do this. I've opened the bracket here. So as somebody said, x is equal to minus a minus 3, or x is equal to a minus 2. Write this, children. Complete, write, finish writing, and then ask me if you have any questions. Do it fast.
Yes, now completed. Ma'am.
Okay, but I have to give others time. I'll wait for 3 minutes, children. Questions, children? Still writing? Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Instead of finding in the A terms, can we first substitute instead of A as minus 3 and 2, like that we can do, ma'am.
Okay. You want to replace the expression a square plus a minus 6 with what?
Minus 3 or 2, ma'am.
Minus with some other variable, is it?
No, ma'am. We found that A plus 3 and 2 minus A, no, ma'am.
A plus 3 and 2 minus a. Yes. Yes.
So we can substitute in the A as minus 3, and so we get a minus 3 the whole square minus 3 minus 6, ma'am.
Okay.
So it will become 0, ma'am.
No, after getting a plus 3 and 2 minus a, you cannot. What is that? Why do you want to write? Meaning replace a with minus 3, a with 3.
Ma'am, he's equating it to 0, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No, but is that the procedure? Why do you equate that to 0 and substitute in the given equation?
Ma'am, he's telling like at the last step we do zeros, no, ma'am. Like that he's telling, ma'am.
No, this is okay, Shakti. This is okay. Thanks, Srinivasan. Shakti. So here we are just trying to simplify that product. Now, if you take the product as a square. Now, if you just have it as minus a square minus a plus 6, it's so difficult to find the two expressions which will give the sum as plus 5. I think I'm trying to answer your question. Let me just see if you acknowledge. Now, if you have the product as minus a square minus a plus 6, it's so difficult to find the two expressions which will give you the sum as 5. So to simplify that, to make that work easy, we factorize it and we get a plus 3 and 2 minus a. Now it becomes easy for you to find the two expressions. That will give you the sum as plus 5.
Okay.
Now your question maybe is why you're factorizing the product which is minus a square minus a plus 6, because with the sum now with these two with the sum as plus 5 and the product as minus a square minus a plus 6, we need to find two expressions that will give us the sum and product, and it's difficult to find. How will you find a plus 3 and 2 minus a? It's difficult to find, and you know that these expressions are unique. Yes. These are the only two expressions that can satisfy the sum and the product. So we factorize. So since to just make our work easy, it's not easy to find otherwise. So you have to factorize the product expression. And when you factorize, you get two simpler equations like a plus 3 expressions like a plus 3 and 2 minus a, using which you can find the two expressions to split the middle term of the original equation.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is no point equating this to 0. We are not solving this equation. We're not trying to solve this. We're just trying to simplify this by factorizing so that we get simpler expressions like this. We get when you factorize, you get two different expressions. So now, so now in this case, we use them as it is. Sometimes we may have to fix a plus and we may have to fix a minus sign to this and a plus sign to this, or minus to both. So here, as it is, the expressions help us to get the sum plus 5. Okay. Another one like this. So here again, this is a quadratic equation in one variable x, and you are expected to factorize this by splitting the middle term. You have to factorize this by splitting the middle term. So this is the x squared term. This is the x term. This is the x squared term. This is the x term. And this is the constant which does not have the x or x squared. This is that expression which does not have x or x square. So this is regarded as the product. The sum is minus 2a. The coefficient of x, the coefficient of cover x, don't see x. Whatever remains is the sum. Minus 2a is the sum. X is the variable. So other than the a variable, the remaining things are the sum, minus 2a. And the product is x. The coefficient of x square is 1. So you can just ignore it. This is the product. Minus of 4b square minus a square. This is the product. Write out the sum and product. Write out the sum and product like this. This is the sum. This is a quadratic equation in one variable x. First term, second term, and this is the third term. We regard this as one term. One term. See, x square is now in the equation. This is the x square term. So this is one term. This is the x term. This is the second term. The rest of it, which does not have x or x square, is regarded as a third term, which is the product, which forms, meaning if the coefficient of x square is 1, then that third term is the product. So the sum is the coefficient of x, which is minus 2a. The product is, because the coefficient is 1 here, so 1 into this, which is the same thing here. So minus of 4b square minus a square is the product. So you can multiply this minus sign. So you get minus 4b square plus a square. And now using this a square minus 4b square, you need to find two expressions. That will give you the sum as minus 2a, which is difficult to find. So we factorize this. So how can we factorize this? This is like a difference of two squares. X square minus y square is x plus y into x minus y. So here we have got two simple expressions, a plus 2b and a minus 2b. Now using these two, you must maybe you have to attach a negative sign. Now they are positive. So look at them as two different expressions, a plus 2b, a minus 2b. You need to use these two and get the sum as minus 2a, See children, this is the sum, this is the product. We factorize the product. Here we factorize the product by splitting the middle term. In the first one. Here it's a difference of two squares. So we factorize like this. Now tell me, a plus 2b is one expression. A minus 2b is another expression. If you take them as it is, what is the sum? Tell me. What will be the sum if you take these two expressions? Supposing a plus 2b and a minus 2b as it is, these are the two expressions needed to split the middle term. What is the sum here?
2a.
2a. If you think, okay, let me split the middle term using a plus 2b and a minus 2b. So I got two expressions, no? So a plus 2b is one expression, a minus 2b is other expression. I'm going to split the middle term using these two. Are you right? Or am I right? So when you find the sum, actually a plus 2b, write a plus 2b first. Below that you write a minus 2b and just find, simplify that. Plus 2b minus 2b will get cancelled. A plus a is 2a, but you must get minus 2a, which means you need to fix the sign. Maybe both can be negative, or now both positive is not working. When both are positive, we are getting 2a, but the sum is minus 2a. Now tell me, fix the sign.
Ma'am, we can keep minus 2b, minus 2a. No,
you so that even I understand clearly. Now a plus 2b is in a bracket. This is one expression. A minus 2b is the other expression. Now tell me, if we have to fix, if at all we have to fix a negative sign, to which one or to both? Tell me that.
Ma'am, to both, ma'am.
To both, okay. To both, so according to Srinivasan, it should be minus of a plus 2b, one expression.
Yes,
That's one minus of a minus 2b. Okay.
I run in another.
No, that way I'll tell you, I have done it another way. So we'll see that later. Have you grouped x square minus 2ax and plus a square and worked it?
No, ma'am. Instead of multiplying that minus to 4b square minus a square, I kept that like and I have directly factorized them. So I got minus into a plus 2b and minus a minus 2b.
A minus 2b minus, yeah, it looks right. I can see the answer here. I can see it here. You share a picture of your answer. Let me see if you've split the middle term. Yes, as Srinivasan said, it will be minus of a plus 2b and minus of a minus 2b, because when you fix a minus sign to both, what happens here? Now, see, I put a comma here, children. This is one expression. This is the other expression. These are the two expressions which have to be taken up to split the middle term. These are the two expressions to be taken up to split the middle term. Now we fixed a minus sign. You can fix any sign. You can fix any sign. Compare this working to the numerical ones which we did last year. You will find two numbers, supposing 6, and the numbers are 3 and 2. So you will say, like -3, -2, whatever. You can fix the signs. You know that. So here, taking a minus sign for both the expressions will give us minus a, minus 2. This is just a check. You're just checking for the sum here. So there will be minus a, minus 2b, minus a, plus 2b. See here. See here for yourself. Minus a, minus 2b, minus a, plus 2b. So plus 2b minus 2b cancels out. Minus a is minus 2a, which is a sum. And this, see here. So these are the two expressions which you have to use to split the middle term. Now tell me, what will you write? What will you write? X square. Meaning, how will you continue?
X square minus of a plus b 2b of x.
Very good.
Minus of a minus 2b of x.
Yes.
Plus a plus 2b into a minus 2b, ma'am. Is equals to 0.
Is equal to 0. You must take a plus sign because we use the minus. We have taken the minus here. We have factorized using this minus sign. See here, we have taken this minus sign here. So again, if you put a minus, it will be incorrect. We've already taken this minus sign here. We have regarded this as, minus into minus plus a square minus 4b square. That when you multiply the minus sign inside, that means there's a plus here. So as she said, as Priyadarshini rightly said, see here. So x square, which is the first term, x square is the first term. You need to write the last term as it is actually, but since we have factorized it here, we'll write these two. We'll write these two, a plus 2b, a minus 2b, a plus 2b, a minus 2b. And we'll take a plus sign. We have to take a plus sign because we already multiplied the minus with the terms inside the bracket. So it's plus here. So writing the first term x square and the last term is this one, but instead of this, we write its factors. Plus a plus 2b into a minus 2b. Now the middle terms. So we fix the signs here. And we know that this and this, these two gives us the sum minus 2a. So write this one. See here, write this one here, x, and write this one, x is equal to 0. Now group the first two terms. Group the first two terms, x is common, x into x is x square, x into minus of a plus 2b will give you this term. See, just multiply. Between the first and the second term, x is common, x into x is x square, and this into x is the second term here. Now between the third and the fourth term, a minus 2b is common. It's written here. Now a minus 2b into x is this term, the third term, and this into this is the fourth term. This is out common. So just write this here. Tell me, children, we haven't finished, but any questions still here?
No.
So this is what we have. Then, yeah, you know that, right? So we're going to, in the next step in the first bracket, x minus of a plus 2b. This one in one bracket, and x minus of a minus 2b in the other bracket. See, this is common. This one we'll write once. This we'll write once. Then we'll write these two in another bracket. That's what you see here. That's what you see here. Is equal to 0. Then I multiply the sign minus a minus 2b minus a plus 2b is equal to 0. Remember, we are solving for x. We're solving for x, not for a or b. So x, this one is equal to 0, or this is equal to 0. So x is equal to a plus 2b, or x is equal to a minus 2b. Is it understood, children?
Yes, ma'am. I sent my working in WhatsApp.
Yeah, I'll check. Completed, children. I'll wait for all of you to finish writing. Please let me know. If I'm about to start the next one, but you have not still finished, please tell me. Yes, Swaminathan, your working is right. So just that you have not multiplied the sign inside, that's all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's fine. Your steps are right.
Okay.
Children, is this over?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody still writing? Okay. See, third one. So again, this is the okay. This is a quadratic equation in one variable x. X is the variable. So x square term. This is the x term, its coefficient, and this is the constant. Is equal to 0. So the sum is the coefficient of the x term minus of 2b minus 1, which is nothing but this. And the product is this one. This is the product. So to make it easy to find the two expressions to split the middle term, we factorize this. So on factorizing, we get b plus 4 into b minus 5. Now we make use of these two expressions. These are the, see, this is what we did last year also. When we had a number, you know, like say that we had a number like 180. See, since we use different methods, I don't know if you'll all agree, but we do work the prime factors of 180, right? We'll write 180 and then say 290 times, 245 times, 315 times. Yeah, we find the factors and we use the factors to make two numbers, which will be helpful to split the middle term. That's what we're doing here also. Exactly that we're doing here. Even when we had a number, we used to factorize that number. When we have a number, we factorize a number, we get all its factors. Now using all the factors, we will find two numbers. We'll use all the factors to get two numbers. We'll just try to multiply them in whatever order. We'll combine them. But the thing is, we need to use all the numbers and make two numbers, which will satisfy the sum and the product. Same thing. We take up the product, we factorize that. So now these are the two expressions we get. Now to these expressions, we fix the signs accordingly. So you have to take minus of this one and minus of this one also. Only then you will get the sum as minus 2b plus 1. You can see the working here. When you take a minus here and a minus here, so it will become minus b minus 4 minus b plus 5. So that gives you minus 2b plus 1. See, it's kind of easy because this itself is enough. Minus 2b, right? It's minus 2b. That means it should be minus b minus b. When will you get minus b minus b? As it is, it's only b plus b, 2b. You need to get minus 2b. The sum should be the sum should be minus 2b. The sum should be minus 2b. So I think you can just take the clue from there that you have to fix a minus sign to both, so that minus b and minus b will give you minus 2b. Yeah. Okay. I was telling you that you can take the clue, like if you feel it's difficult to fix the signs, you can just take some clue from the sum. The sum has minus 2b in it. It has minus 2b. So minus 2b, now here you have b and b. Using b and b, the only way to get minus 2b is fixing a minus sign to both, so that minus b minus b will give you minus 2b. So automatically you will get plus 1. Then the same steps, write the first term, write the last term, write the last term. By mistake, I wrote this itself, b square minus b minus 20. So I didn't want to erase it. In the next step, I replaced it. I wanted to write b plus 4 into b minus 5 here, but in a hurry, I wrote this one. It's okay. So if you write this, then in the next step, you replace that with b plus 4 into b minus 5. Then here you will have to write my middle term minus middle terms minus b plus 4 as, of x minus minus of b minus 5 of x. So we have split the middle term using these two expressions. Using these two, you'll have to fix an x. If it's y, then it will be y. It will be minus of b plus 4 of y. Here also of y. Okay, split the middle term, and instead of the last term, we wrote b plus 4 into b minus 5. Then the steps are the same, children. I won't waste your time. Just write down. I didn't explain ahead because you know the rest of it. All right. Should I wait?
I am out in the previous question.
Yeah.
I have put like x square minus b minus 5x minus b plus 4x plus
Shakti,
b.
it's easier to, yeah. If you've worked in a different way, it's easier to help or check if you share a picture, Shakti. Let me go through because that'll be easier. Please share your picture. Let me go through that and get back to you. You want to know if your steps are right. Correct?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sending.
Okay, yeah. So let me move on. I'll go through that and get back to you. Let's see the next one. Solve for x any method. So what we saw in these three equations, we've seen three equations. We have factorized three equations by splitting the middle term. We were dealing with numerical versions last year, and now here you have expressions for sum and product. Last year we had numbers for sum and product. So now we have expressions for sum and product. That's a difference. The procedure is the same. How we split the middle term, and then what we do, we group the first two terms, we group the last two terms. That procedure is the same. All right. See the next one. The heading is solve for x any method. So when you have to just solve, when the heading is solve for x and the method is not specified, Earlier it was solve or factorize by splitting the middle term. We had to solve for x by splitting the middle term. That's what we've been seeing so far. So here it is just solve for x. So you're free to use your method. So what you can do is, this is the x. This what you see here is the x square term. This is the x term, and these two terms actually they're not enclosed in a bracket. So I'm calling them terms. So this term and this term, they don't have x or x square in it. These two terms, they don't have an x or x square in it. Now what you can do is, this is the x square term, this is the x term. Now for this x square term and x term, you find the third term, which with the help of which you can complete the square. So I'll tell you, it's easy to select. It cannot be minus b square. It cannot be minus b square, because then it will be like a square minus 2ab minus b square. See, the identity goes like this, right? It's either it's a square, only the middle term 2ab has a plus or minus. It's a square plus 2ab plus b square, or a square minus 2ab plus b square. In both the cases, it's a square plus b square. Either it is plus 2ab or a square plus b square minus 2ab, which makes a plus b the whole square, a minus b the whole square accordingly. So what I'm saying is, from the signs itself, you can make out that if you want to regard this as the x square term and this one as the x term, then the third term, to use the formula a square minus 2ab plus b square will be, it should be a positive term. So it cannot be minus b square. It has to be plus 4a square. It has to. You can make out from the signs itself. This is the x square term. This is the x. So this is like x square minus 2xy. Say 2xy. Okay. It will be plus y square. It has to be plus y square. It cannot be minus y square, because the identity has signs like that. Let me tell you that again. So it is a square minus 2ab plus b square. It's not minus b square. It's either a square minus 2ab plus b square, which is a minus b the whole square, or a square plus 2ab plus b square, which is a plus b the whole square. So you know that you can use x square minus 4ax. This is the x square term, this is the x term. For these two terms, you can use this as a third term, and this is a perfect square. This is a perfect square. We'll see how it's a perfect square. So this one we'll have it separately, minus b square. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. From these 4 terms, this is the x square term, this is the x term. From these two terms, we are choosing this plus 4a square. We're choosing this plus 4a square because it's positive, and also because it has this a in it. Also because it has this a in it. We group these 3 terms, and we have this minus b square separately is equal to 0. Now this is clearly of the form. Let me use p and q. P square plus q square minus 2pq. So how is this p square? X the whole square. How is this q square? 2a the whole square, where p is x and q is 2a. X the whole square, 2a the whole square. So what will be the middle term? Minus 2 into x into 2a. And does this give you 4ax? Yes, it gives us 4ax. This is nothing but x the whole square. This is nothing but 2a the whole square. Now let's write the middle term. It will be minus 2 into, why 2 into? Because 2pq, right? So 2 into p is x and q is 2a. And work this, you get 4ax. So now see these 3 terms. They make an expression which is a perfect square. X square minus 2, p square minus 2pq plus q square, which can be written as p minus q the whole square. P minus q the whole square. And that will be x minus 2a the whole square. X minus 2a the whole square. And this minus b square as it is. X minus 2a the whole square, because it's in the form p square minus 2pq plus q square, which is p minus q the whole square, and minus b square. No, write it as minus b the whole square, because further you can factorize it by using the formula a square minus b square, difference of two squares. Difference of two squares. A square minus b square is equal to a plus b into a minus b. So here, this is one expression which you can call it as a, and this is b. So a square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b. A plus b into a minus b. This is a, this full thing, x minus 2a, plus b into a minus b. So equate this to 0, and find the values of x. So you can adopt this method when it is just solve for x. If you have to solve for x by splitting the middle term, then it's the earlier method. Now when it is just solve for x, if it's by splitting the middle term, then you have to identify the sum product, then you'll have to find the two expressions, split the middle term and work. Here it is just solve for x. So you can also do it like this. Let's work this, children.
And we can also do by taking the square roots.
Square root meaning?
We can take the b square to the right hand side, ma'am.
Yeah, we are not. That's what that. See, you are introduced to that method in school, but in this classroom we have not still seen that method, right? So I'll introduce that to you in the next heading.
Okay.
Yeah, we can also do that. We're completing the square.
Once again, previous slide, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. have finished, children? Shall we take up the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. So see here. So 4x square, again the heading is solve for x, so you're free to use any method. 4x square plus 4bx minus of a square minus b square is equal to 0. So let's open up the bracket by multiplying the minus sign within. So we have minus a square plus b square is equal to 0. Now here we have, this is the x square term, x term. Now if you have to have three terms which make a perfect square, then you look at this as a square term. This one has plus 2ab. A square plus 2ab. So you need a b square term which should be positive because the formula is a square plus 2ab plus b square, or a square minus 2ab again plus b square. The third term should be positive. So minus, we have minus a square, we have plus b square. So you have to take plus b square. You cannot use minus a square because those three terms will not make a perfect square. So you have to, for the sake of the sign, that's one reason, for the sake of the sign, we need a positive term. So plus b square. And also see, b square has b in it and the middle term also has b in it. So for these reasons, we group, 4x square plus 4bx and this b square. This is the x square term. This is the x term. So like a square and 2ab. We need the b square term. Since we have xa and b, it's so difficult to use. So now let me say p and q. So this is the p square term. This is the 2pq term. So we're looking for that q square term, which is b square plus b square, and minus a square here is equal to 0. Now these three terms. So here p the whole square, and this is q the whole square, 2x the whole square, b the whole square. And now the middle term, construct the middle term, 2 into 2x into b. Construct the middle term, 2 into 2x into b. 2 into 2x into b. And work this and you get 4bx. All right, so these three terms make p square plus 2pq plus q square, and this minus a square as it is equal to 0. So now this can be written as p plus q the whole square, or 2x plus b the whole square minus a square is equal to 0. So now difference of two squares. So now what letter should I use? Okay, m the whole square minus n the whole square, which is m plus n into m minus n. M square minus n square will be m plus n into m minus n is equal to 0. So we understand that m is 2x plus b, m plus n plus a, m minus a. Now we equate each of these to 0 to find the values of x. We're solving for x, so find x. X is equal to this or x is equal to this. Write down, children. Is it over, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So solve for x. Here it is. Solve for x by completing the square. The first heading we saw was solve for x by splitting the middle term. The first heading, solve for x by splitting the middle term. The second heading, solve for x. You have the freedom to choose any method. So you could factorize or solve for x by splitting the middle term or a different method. So there we saw when we have, okay, let me show you that again. So there we have 4 terms. Let's take this for example. So we have 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. We group 3 terms, which make a perfect square. Like you can write them as a plus b the whole square or a minus b the whole square. So we group 3 terms accordingly like that, and we have the remaining 4th term separately. Then after having written this one, the first 3 terms as a plus b the whole square or a minus b the whole square, then we use the last one. We use this one. Now they will look like difference of 2 squares. They look like difference of 2 squares. And that's how we solve for x. You know how it works, difference of 2 squares. And we solve for x. So here solve for x by completing the square. Solve for x by completing the square. So here we had a term to complete the square. So again I have to go back to that. Here we had a term to complete the square. So here we had the a square, okay, p square term 4x square, or we had the 2pq term 4bx, and we were like looking out for a q square term, a suitable term which will serve as plus q square. See, if you look at this as p square and this one as plus 2pq, you want that q square term. You want that q square term plus q square term, and we already had it here. This is p square, this is plus 2pq, and this is plus q square. So when we had p square and plus 2pq, we also had the third term plus q square. These 3 terms which make a perfect square, which means you can write them as p plus q the whole square. Now here the thing is, we have an x square term, we have an x term, but we don't have a suitable constant so that the 3 will make a perfect square. We don't have that. We have an x square term, we have an x term. Okay, so this is our p square and this is our 2pq, but we don't have that q square term which can complete the square. Completing the square is 3 terms. 3 terms are said to be, as per that identity, a square plus 2ab plus b square. When you have 3 terms like that, those 3 terms make a perfect square because they can be written as a plus b the whole square or a minus b the whole square. So here we have something like p square, or we have something like minus 2pq, but we don't have a suitable term that can be plus q square. So that's the method we're going to see here. We're going to add q square to both the sides. We know in an equation, when you do the same action on both the sides, the equation is still balanced. When you do something on one side and something else on the other side, so you say you add 5 to one side in an equation, you add 5 to one side and you multiply the other side by -3. The equation will not hold. The equation is disturbed because you're doing different things on either sides. You must perform the same action on both the sides. So you cannot multiply by 0 on both the sides. You know that. You cannot multiply by 0. So anything, any action permissible. You should do the same thing on both the sides. So what we're going to do is, we're going to, since we have the p square term, we have a term which can serve as p square. We have a term that can serve as plus 2pq or minus 2pq. But we don't have that plus q square term. That third term plus q square we don't have. So we're going to solve for x using this method, which is called solving by completing the square. Completing the square meaning we have the p square term. We have plus or minus 2pq, whatever. We don't have the third term plus q square to complete the square. So that we can write it as p plus q the whole square or p minus q the whole square. We don't have that q square term. So we are going to add that q square term to both the sides. That is what is solving by completing the square. We don't have the q square term. So we're going to add that q square term to both the sides. Because p square plus or minus 2pq plus q square. We need plus q square. So we will add q square to both the sides and we'll complete the square. Those two terms will get the third term, and those three terms will now make a perfect square, and we'll solve this equation for x by completing the square like this. So this is the equation given to us. Write the x square term, x term on one side, shift the constant to the other side, shift it to the other side. Do that first. Do that job first. You have three terms here. Put this to the other side. This is the x square term. This is the x term. This -1, take it to the other side. Now here you have two terms. Look at the coefficient of x square. We mostly like to, you will learn different other ways also. Now you understand like this. We've just begun, so let me tell you like this. Now we'll have the coefficient of x square as 1. We'll have the coefficient of x square as 1 always. This x square should be a perfect square. 48x square. 48x, in 48x square, the coefficient of x square is 48. We like to have 1x square always. We like to have 1x square. We like to have the coefficient of x square as 1. So we'll divide by 48 throughout. That's the next step. Always, whatever is the coefficient of x square, we divide by that throughout. Then only the coefficient of x square will be 1. So first step is to write the x square term and x term on one side and shift the constant. That's the first step. Then look at the coefficient of x square. Is it 1? No. Then divide by that throughout. The coefficient is 48, right? Divide by 48 throughout. So what will happen? 48x square by 48 is x square. Minus 13x by 48 is the same thing. Is equal to 1 by 48. So shifting this to the other side is the first step. X square, the coefficient is not 1. You want it to be 1. How can it become 1? Then you should divide by 48 throughout. Now it's become 1. The coefficient of x square is 1. Okay. Now the next step is to find out that q square term. That q square term. What you have to add on both the sides. So how do we find out that? So this step, see, maybe you don't show it in school, but just to make it very clear, I prefer to show it like this. You need not, this need not be a part of the working, but it's not wrong either. Or you can show this step in the rough column. You can just use it for yourself. Okay, now this is the 2pq term, or the 2xy term, 2ab term, whatever. This is that term. This is that term. So this one has 2 into, here by this is x the whole square, right? This is x the whole square. Now if you look at this as 2xy, there is 2 there. What is this? This is nothing but x the whole square. So it has that x, this one is the middle term, which has the x and the y, or if I say p and q, it has p and q. This one is, if it is 2pq, it has p and q in it. It has 2p and q. This middle term has 2p and q. So 2 is 2. 2 is 2. Now that p from here, p is x. And q is what we don't know. The middle term is 2pq. The middle term is 2pq. This is 2pq. This is the 2pq term. There is 2. This one has 2 in it. This one has p in it. What is p? X. And q we don't know. That's what I put a question mark here. We don't know the q term. Put a question mark here. So this one is equal to 13x by 48. So when x and x on either side will get cancelled. X and x. 1 minute, children. Somebody's calling me. Just a minute. Yeah, children. So I was telling you that this is our p square term. This is our minus 2pq term. So this one has 2p and q in it. It has 2. It has p, which is x, and q, which we don't know. And this makes 13x by 48. So x and x on either side will get cancelled. X and x. So this 2 will come for division here. The 2 will come for division here. So that q term is 13 by 96 because x and x will get cancelled. So that q term is 13 by 96. The 2 will come for division here. So 13 by 2 into 48. So 13 by 96. So the required q term is 13 by 96. And now you need to add q square, not q. You should add q square to both the sides. So you must add 13 by 96 the whole square to both the sides. 13 by 96 the whole square to both the sides. Let's see it again from the beginning. So equation, this is the equation given. Shift the constant, take the -1 to the other side. That's the first step. Coefficient of x squared is not 1. We'll make it 1 by dividing by 48 throughout. So now the coefficient of x squared is 1. Next, we'll take up the middle term, which is 2pq. I'm using pq because I don't want to use x. So this is that 2pq term. This is a 2pq term. Okay, it's minus 2pq. That's fine. This is 2pq, which is 13x by 48. So this one has 2 in it and p, which is x, because this is p the whole square, x the whole square. So this is 2pq. It has 2, it has p, which is x, and q, which we don't know. We don't know what the expression for q is. We don't know. That is also there. So 2 into p into q is equal to 13x by 48. X on either side gets cancelled. So that q term which we want is 13 by 96. This 2 will come for division here. So that q term which we want is 13 by 96. You are not going to add q to both the sides. You're going to add q square to both the sides, because we want p square minus 2pq plus q square. So we add 13 by 96, the whole square to both the sides. So that q term, that question mark term is, you can see it, I've just worked it here, 13 by 96. You can just do this in your rough column. Now, this is the x square term. That is a p square term, x the whole square. We are adding 13 by 96 the whole square to both the sides. We already have 1 by 48 on the other side. We already have 1 by 48 on the other side. We are adding 13 by 96 the whole square to both the sides. We are adding 13 by 96 the whole square to both the sides. The q square term to both the sides. And then what should be the middle term then? 2 into p, which is x, and q, which is 13 by 96. Simplify this, what you get? 2 ones are 2, 48 times. So 13x by 48, and that's what you have. 13x by 48. See here, 13x by 40. This is the middle term. 13x by 48. This 13x by 48 can be written as 2 into p, which is x, and q, which is 13 by 96. This is the term here, x square. You can see x square here. Then you can see this minus 13x by 48, which is written as minus 2 into p, which is x, q, which is 13 by 96. We're just writing this in the form 2pq. You can simplify. 2 ones are 2, 48 times. So 13x by 48, that's what you have here, 13x by 48. So p the whole square minus 2pq plus q square. This is what you're adding to both the sides. I'm just pausing so that. So after identifying q, we add q square to both the sides. And as we add q square to both the sides, we also write that middle term in the form 2pq, 2 into p into q. You can simplify that, you will get what was there originally. So now these three terms are of the form p square minus 2pq plus q square, which can be written as p minus q the whole square. On the other side, you have, it's all numerical, so you understand what to do with it, LCM and all that. So we have completed the square. By adding the q square term to both the sides, we have completed the square. And we have written it as x minus 13 by 96 the whole square. So on this side we are done. On the other side we need to take up the LCM and all that. We get 361 by 9216. So x minus 13 by 96 is equal to plus or minus square root of this number. So x minus 13 by 96 is equal to plus or minus the square root of the numerator is 19. The square root of the denominator is 96. You should know the or you can guess also, because it's 96 square here. It's safe. You should know how to find the square root by long division method, which you must have seen in 8th standard. So now the square root of the numerator is 19, the denominator is 96. So plus or minus 19 by 96. So we are solving for x. So x will be equal to minus 13 by 96 on the other side. Minus 13 by 96 on the other side will be plus 13 by 96. Plus or minus 19 by 96. Transpose this. Take this to this side. This side. So 13 by 96 minus becomes plus. Plus or minus 19 by 96. So x is equal to 13 by 96 plus 19 by 96, or x is equal to 13 by 96 minus 19 by 96. Simplify. So this becomes 1 by 3. This becomes minus 1 by 16. So these are the two values of x. These are the two values of x. I'm not giving you time to write now, children. I just want to explain the other one and then wind up the class. The next one. Let me just do this and wind up the class. Yeah. So here again, we need to solve for x by completing the square. We need to solve for x by completing the square. Step 1, this is the x square term, this is the x term, or this is the, okay, let me say x. This is x the whole square, and this is minus 3 root 5 of x. So we have the first and the second term. We need the third term, that square term. So again, it's difficult to say without p and q. I'm trying to rush. So this is like p the whole square minus 2pq. Or we need that q square term. We need the q square term. The coefficient of x square is already 1. The coefficient of x square is already 1. So you don't have to divide by anything throughout. It's already 1. The coefficient is already 1. So just move this to the other side. Plus 10 to the other side, minus 10. Now this is that 2pq term. This is the 2pq term. 2 into p is x. Because this is p square. This is p square. So p is x. 2 into p, which is x, into q, which we don't know, is this one, 3 root 5x. So x gets cancelled on both the sides. So that q term which you're looking for is 3 root 5 by 2. Normally they'll just say take half of this. Take half of this x term. Half of the x term. Okay. This is what it is. 3 root 5 by 2 is the q term. So see, we are adding 3 root 5 by 2, the whole square to both the sides. We want q square, not q. So you can see the first term here, x the whole square, this one which is written in the form 2pq. We don't write this as it is. We show that it's in the form 2pq, where 2 is 2, p is x, and q is this one, 3 root 5 by 2. See here, root 2 and 2 gets cancelled. 2 and 2 cancels, and 3 root 5x, 3 root 5x. We just write this in the form 2pq. 2 into p, which is x, and q, which is 3 root 5 by 2. Okay, so p the whole square, x the whole square minus 2pq plus, add the square, 3 root 5 by 2 the whole square to both the sides. So see here, you can see it in the left hand side, you can see it in the right hand side, and already in the right hand side we have minus 10. That's it. In the left hand side, these three terms make p minus q the whole square. So p minus q the whole square is equal to, simplify this. You know this. Simplify this, take the LCM and all that. We have 5 by 4. So x minus 3 root 5 by 2, the whole square is 5 by 4. X minus 3 root 5 by 2 will be equal to the square root of plus or minus square root of 5 by 4. And which is root 5 by 2. Which is root 5 by 2. Which is root 5 by 2. Then we are solving for x, so push this to the other side. Transpose this. So you get 3 root 5 by 2 plus or minus root 5 by 2. So work it with the plus sign once, then minus sign once, and get the two values of x. So x is equal to 2 root 5 or x is equal to root 5. I'll share the material, children, with you. So you can complete this. Complete only to this extent. Don't write. I have to share the entire material with you. But you complete only those which were, explained in the class today. Class, use the emoji. Raise your hands. I hope Shreya and Sudarshan are also there. Very good, children. 5 of us have not joined the class. Okay. Okay, some of us are not there today. Fine. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. I'll share the material. Please complete your classwork, the last 2 sums. If you have any doubts, children, please stay back. Else you may leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night, children. Thank you.